But I also know that David is soon going to be Papi David.
Yeah, he's going to be David.
Yeah. Yeah.
Something like that.
Shout out to Eddie Kiwi.
But, you know, maybe StarDuck and Zain can make up for the lack of Kiwis here as we kick things off on Cosmic Sapphire, the Protoss map of the current pool, where in the top left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top left-hand corner, we of course have our green Protoss player coming out from the land of Britain, and also representing Pakistan like he did in Nation Wars. He is Zain.
And spawning in the bottom right-hand corner of Cosmic Sapphire, we have the CranKy Duckling himself, hailing from the land of the Australias. It is the red Protoss. It is StarDuck.
The Australias. All right, I guess we're just. I guess Australia's just adopting New Zealand now.
Oh yeah. I mean, David's not here to stop that from happening. Okay.
Exactly.
Like if he was here,
we need you, Dave.
Your people need you, Papi. Oh god, and I'm excited because even though, you know, we can meme about KS2, we can meme about StarDuck being out of practice and not playing StarCraft and not laddering, PvP I feel like is his bread and butter. I do remember a time last year where StarDuck arguably had the best PvP in the entire region.
He 2-0'd Probe.
He did.
And then went on to 2-1 Pez in a series in a single season of ANZ Champs. It was insane, Papi.
Exactly, mate. StarDuck, you know, he has what it takes in this matchup. Does he have the control though? Does he have the micro? That is what we are going to find out here. So far, both players do open up with 2 gate openers.
All right, what's it gonna be? Oh, all right, we're too late to guess.
Oh, okay. So the double stalker openers from both of our players. Oh my god, never mind. Zain changes his mind.
Decides to be a little bit safer here. He does want to keep his eyes on StarDuck with some Luke scouting, I imagine.
Yeah.
I just realized that the warping colors are different for different skins.
Yeah.
Huh.
barely they are.
Huh. Well, look at that.
But StarDuck does scout that it is going to be a Stalker first opener here from Zain, as StarDuck is going to be moving out across the map. He will have the numbers advantage for a little bit here, but with the defender's advantage, you know, we will have some more Stalkers. We'll also have some force fields if Zain needs them.
Yeah, being a little bit more conservative with his sentries, which I definitely appreciate. Don't want to be too trigger happy. That is a proxy pylon, though.
Oh my god.
StarDuck, he's keeping the probe there. He's going to follow it up with a gateway.
Yeah, I'm feeling some 3-gate play coming out from StarDuck. He can still go for an expansion behind this, by the way. So far, he does take that one probe. Is going to just dance back against the Stalkers as we see a hallucinated scout coming out for Zain.
And that is a very, very important Haluk to go across the map right now. Zain needs to keep his eyes on, you know, how many buildings StarDuck doesn't have in that main base. The fact that StarDuck, I mean, I guess taking natural now isn't too out of the ordinary, but still, it's a bit of a tell.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so far he's aware of the tech. He knows it's not a Stargate opener, so he doesn't have to waste any resources like a shield battery into the main base or anything like that in that mineral line. I'm just waiting to see. There it is. It isn't going to be. Oh my god, it is the gateway, Yaku!
Don't! This is actually perfect case scenario for StarDuck. There is no forge for cannons. There is no robo for observer. There is no starport for oracles. The best thing that Zain can really do right now is to try to body block the DTs with force fields, but he's spending a lot of energy on Haluks.
Exactly. This is the second hallucination coming across the map, and again, when he gets across the map, he's going to see the Twilight Council researching. He's going to be none the wiser about DTs. The Dark Shrine is going to finish up soon, TM, and Zain, if he doesn't get detection out, it may just be over.
Alright, come on, I'm keeping my fingers crossed. These adepts are kind of going this direction, but they don't see the pylon. And Zain is still none the wiser. He is still not throwing down any of that detection. And I fear for him, Light. I feel like DTs could just end the game.
They can. We've seen it happen before, Yaku. We've seen games where DTs rock up and it's just GG.
They don't even swipe anything. Yeah. They see the shimmer and they're like, well, all right.
You know, you got me.
Yeah.
You
Damn.
got me, mate. Oh my god, here we go. The DCs are on the way. Meanwhile, we have Stalkers at home here for StarDuck, so these Adepts shouldn't really deal too much damage at all. StarDuck is taking a third base behind this. He is not all in. He expects maybe this to deal a little bit of damage, but not too much, as the DTs are rolling on in, and Zain has to react.
And he sees a shimmer, he sees a shimmer, he is retreating back, and he does have the force field available!
There we
But
go.
he will kind of have to forfeit the space.
Yeah, he force fields a ramp. He fully walls off on one base. He has a robo on the way, but as you were saying, he is giving up what is natural. The shield batteries get cleaned up. He may even lose the Nexus.
You know, it was absolutely the right call for StarDuck to take that third base. He is just going to snowball so hard when it comes to the economy now.
Yeah, exactly. The Stalkers are coming across the map as well. At the same time, we do have Adepts, and they are getting probe kills, so a little bit of a misstep here from StarDuck. He will lose some workers due to his aggression, but this is worth it because he, again, is keeping Zain on one base as he takes 3.
And you know what? He also has Blink now.
True.
DTs are going to provide a little bit of high ground vision if they go up that ramp. I don't think StarDuck wants to blink into that, but he can if he wanted to.
He can if he wanted to. The Adepts get cleaned up. StarDuck is down in workers, but he can replace everything. He just has to prepare for a counterattack because Zain does have a relatively similar army to that of StarDuck's.
Yeah, you know, with some good blink stock and micro, then Zain can absolutely make up for the very slight deficit in stalkers.
Oh god, exactly. So StarDuck has to be careful. Meanwhile, we do see Zain long distance mining. He's going to try and regain this base. Looking at his vision, he actually hasn't seen the third. He doesn't know how far behind he is. Oh.
Once again, best case scenario for StarDuck. This DT is even embedding itself to the army, just trying to be annoying and trying to say, hey, I could go back into your natural.
Yeah,
if you're not careful.
Follow me, Bobby. Follow me. He does confirm the army coming out across the map, so StarDuck is getting ready. We have shield batteries, we have force fields, we have secondary pylons just in case the first pylon goes down. We have plenty to defend. We have an overcharge, mate. And defensive DTs.
And a second overcharge, if he needs it.
And offensive DTs. Oh my god, Zain is going to try and force his way. And we have Voice to pull as well, as here we go. He does end up engaging. He does have a bit of a superior concave here. StarDuck is really struggling when it comes to the force fields, but regardless, he's killing workers across the map.
Yeah, once again, just making sure that Zain can never mine from that natural base. StarDuck continuing to be patient. You know, he doesn't want to throw away his lead whatsoever. He wants to make sure that he has an unbeatable army before he, you know, really makes any decisive moves.
Yeah, exactly. You know, just working on the rest of his Stalkers, working on his upgrades. +1 is on the way. He has a Robo to get into Immortal production if he so wishes, or just a War Prism just to reinforce across the map. And this is the correct move here from Zain. I love it. A way to come back.
The great equalizers will eventually be made.
Yeah, disruptors are on the horizon here for Zain. If he can survive long enough and get good enough disruptor shots, he can come back despite the deficit as he goes for a massive counterattack. Oh my god, he blinks all the way into the main.
That was such a good body block, but I forgot that Stalkers can blink for a second there, lad, if I'm being honest. So this does so much to pull back the army of StarDuck. It's also killing a lot of probes. Not enough to equalize the damage from earlier, though.
Yeah, but honestly, like, these are really good moves. Like, these are necessary moves here for Zain. Without this, he would be down and out in this game. So, honestly, doing a great job with what he has. His, again, Stalker count is still looking quite formidable. Disruptors, they can make up for 10, 20, 30 supply deficits. So, yeah, just really great moves from Zain.
Very good moves from Zain. But eventually, there's just one move that he has to make now that he's getting his Disruptors out, and that's the third base.
Yeah, we're gonna need a third base soon here. We need our gases being taken for maybe even double Disruptor production.
That is a ninja and a half at the Rich Vespine gas base. Now, we do see this happening quite often. We do see Protoss players take a ninja, but it's usually at the gold.
Yeah, there's a lot of value to be had here with the Rich Vespine gas base, but a Prism is on the way. Is the Prism gonna stumble upon this? Oh my god!
Deadly it will, yep.
Wow.
StarDuck has got to be scratching his head a little right now, but probably thankful for, having that. That was such a lucky rally for him.
It really
Everything's
was.
going his way this game.
Yeah, he was rallying
for game number 2.
He was just rallying to go into the main base, mate. He was not anticipating this at all, and here we go. He does stumble upon the base. He's gonna force the cancel.
And that's got to feel at least a little demoralizing if you're Zain. It's the one way he would have been able to catch back up economically.
Exactly. Now he's still once again stuck on these 2 bases. Archons are coming in again. Very ground-oriented, charged out Archon Immortal Stalker. So this is still ideal for Zain. Like, again, the Novas can still be very impressive. It will come down to the engagement for StarDuck. It's still going to come down to his army movement and his army control.
Yeah, he's got to make sure he doesn't blink prematurely. He has to make sure that, he doesn't blink on top of this Purification Novas. That has happened before. I want to say Patience has done that before.
I'm pretty sure he has. Patience, he's done it all.
His own Purification Novas.
He's done it all. Aye. But StarDuck's maintaining his lead. He's working on a 4th base. Zain only just now taking his 3rd. Look at that disparity in the workers. And StarDuck is now pushing out. He is ahead by 50 supply. Can Disruptors make up for that deficit?
They absolutely can, if they land the Novas.
Yeah,
it's a very big if right now.
Yeah, StarDuck trying to find a way up this ramp. He has his Prism here to reinforce. Archons are going to be on the way. Zain sees all this, by the way, with his Observer.
And he's just trying to slow the push down wherever possible. The Archon is a little bit exposed for StarDuck right now, but he immediately turns around. He buffers that Archon, and he is trying to bait out a couple of shots.
Yeah, there we go.
He's
The first...
Up! Novas will not quite land. These Disruptors are the only things keeping StarDuck at bay right now.
Yeah, the only things that make sense is start to take down these rocks just to make this choke point less choky overall, to find a way in. At the same time, these rocks here towards the south are going to be taken out as well. Zain is buying a lot of time, though, and again, he has a lot of Disruptors. He has 5 in total.
And this is, a lot of breathing room available to him. A lot of time that he needs to make use of somehow, but he just doesn't quite have the minerals to do so.
Mate, StarDuck is getting ready to go for a mass round. He's going to come in from the north, the south, and
Tri-prong.
from the east as well. He's coming in!
That's the Tri-prong. All of these Disruptors are super exposed. They blink back. Zain blinks back to try to deal with them, but that was a very juicy connection. On top of the Stalkers of StarDuck, the battery overcharge is helping Zain a ton. And I gotta say that Zain might be able to hold.
Yeah, exactly. That was the best case scenario here for Zain, but you know what? The Disruptors are going down. The Archons are getting on top of the army as well. In come those charge up reinforcements. Another Nova is going to go off. Again, StarDuck took so many shots to the face, but he is still going to get a kill on this 3rd.
Yeah, and that is something at the very least. The upgrades have now finished for StarDuck as well. He has that weapons advantage. He lost a lot of his army, but look at that bank. Look at how many gateways he has. He can very, very easily replace this. Something that cannot be said to Zain.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, props to Zain though, because he actually only lost a single Disruptor. He was able to keep 4 of these alive. But he's also being pulled apart because of his lack of supply. Massive Charger warping here into the main base. Because of the SimCity, the Chargers honestly aren't doing that much though.
Yeah, there are so many choke points over here. Zain is really making the most out of his situation right now.
Yeah,
but I feel like he needs to make a little bit more than the most.
Yeah, he needs a little bit more than just this. Because StarDuck, as you were saying, is rebuilding. We've got Immortals on the way. We've got Archons on the way. He is rebuilding his Dark Shrine to be aggressive with DTs once again, if available. DT warping into the main base would be insane if he can pull it off.
Hey, it won in the game against Lemui.
It did. Let's be real. Let's be fair. Oh god, the Zealot run bys, they just keep on going. The Warpins keep on going. This is gonna force a massive reaction out of Zain. He does catch a stray Immortal though.
Yeah, that's definitely a nice start. Zain does not want to recall just yet. He's gonna try to take out as much of the main army of StarDuck as possible with his Disruptors, but now Zain is on StarDuck's turf. StarDuck has a lot to retreat back to. The blinks have been good enough so far.
Ugh. Yeah, but you know what? Here we go. We have a master round. GG gets called, and StarDuck will take the first game.
Everything fell into position for him this game, and it was absolutely insane to witness. It's one of those few games that I think, each pro player gets a handful of them throughout the entire career. This was one of them for StarDuck.
Oh yeah. The stars aligned in the shape of a duck, and StarDuck made he was able to just take that first game against Zain in beautiful fashion. There was a rough fight at that third base of Zain, to be fair, where Zain got like the best Novas imaginable. It was just perfect for him, but even the perfect Novas just couldn't make up for how far behind he was.
Yeah, unfortunately. But that was game number 1. We're going to be getting into game number 2, where we'll find out if that 15 minutes that just passed, the Earth has turned enough to break that constellation.
Oh, yeah, we will see, as we are getting a couple of updates here. I don't know the exact score, but it looks like NXZ versus Pez did finish. Hopefully, they can update the admins on how that series went.
Yeah, we would love to know, because of course the winner of that will be facing the winner of this series in the first qualifying match of the evening.
Oh yeah, that they will. I think it's going to be NXZ. He's online, but Pez may be online as also.
Yeah, Pez may be online, but searching his VPN.
It's hard to say. It's hard to say. Meanwhile, the lower qualifying match is already going on. Renegade is covering Demi versus Raza.
Ooh. A little bit of a grudge ZVT going on there. True. But yes, we are going to be continuing our series here, our pre-qualifying match, our prequel, if you want to call it that, here on Data Under the Sea. We're in the bottom left-hand corner map, starting all the way in the bottom left-hand corner. We, of course, have the green Protoss player coming out from the land of Britain, but representing Pakistan as well. He is the brother of Raza, Zain.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Data Under the Sea, we have the Australian Protoss player himself, representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is StarDuck.
Duck versus Dragon.
Who will win? That is going to be the question. I mean, the Duck, he's already got a nice lead here, but it was a cheeky lead, going for that Dark Shrine and getting as lucky as he did.
Yeah, I mean, again, that's a once in a career, or maybe twice in a career game that in all likelihood will happen. This time, Zain is going to be a lot more careful. He's going to be a lot more vigilant. StarDuck is going to have to use a different tool in his toolbox, but we'll say this about StarDuck: as much as we meme about the KS2, as much as we meme about maybe not practicing as much as we would like him to, he is always theory crafting and coming up with new ideas and builds to use.
Speaking of, we do have a pylon across the map, and I'm really curious about this. So a couple of things just happened. One, I don't know if you noticed, but the Zealot here for StarDuck is much later than his opponents. Why? Because I don't think he intends, again, he's faking out that he wanted to make a Zealot. He's faking out that he wants to expand right now. The pylon is going to finish because StarDuck, I feel like, is going to proxy a Stargate.
Oh! It's actually going to be a 2-game!
Oh my god! I'm happy with this instead. This is good.
I agree with that. I'm much happier with the 2 gates coming out instead of a Stargate, but unfortunately for StarDuck, what did we just say? Zain is going to be a lot more... Will he actually see this? Zain.
No.
Go south!
He sees. He does see in the end. Again, Zain recognized, hold on, why didn't you make a Zealot despite the fact that I made a pylon? This is not making any sense at all. Something is wrong. He scouts with his Zealot. He will confirm and see the proxy 4 gate.
And with these Stalkers moving out, I don't think Zain's going to be able to depower this just yet, but knowing is half the battle right now for Zain. He still has plenty of time to build defenses back home. I was mistaken, actually. That is enough damage to take out the pylon.
Yeah, exactly. It is depowered, and it's too late here for StarDuck, as in, he has to commit. Like, he has to commit to this proxy. There is no turning back. There is no transitioning. We have to do whatever we can to break on through, and Zain is responding beautifully by working on a shield battery, second pylon, and a void ray.
Everything he needs is in production right now. StarDuck is going to have to be very, very tight with how he controls his stalkers.
He really will, and like, thankfully there is no Nexus here, so there won't be an overcharge on this shield battery, so there is at least that, but it's still going to be a tough engage here for StarDuck, as he already loses one of his stalkers. 3 stalkers go down.
Yeah, it is the problem of not having Blink against a Void Ray like that. You are kind of left to the mercy of the Pulsar Beam, not the Pulsar Beam, sorry, the Prismatic Alignment. Definitely a little odd for Zain to have been as active with that Void Ray going on the open ground, but, you know, now he has the defensive advantage. Now he should not have to worry too much. I say that, but that's actually a lot of stalkers being produced.
That is a lot of stalkers. Looking at the unit tab, you know, we do have StarDuck with 6 as opposed to 4 of Zain. He has a little bit of a lead, but not a massive one at that. And StarDuck is attempting to transition. He makes a probe, and he makes a Nexus.
And you know what? He's still containing Zain. So technically, he will have the economic lead eventually once that Nexus finishes up. StarDuck needs to sell a story right now. He needs to look like he's going as all in as possible.
Oh god, he really does, and he isn't going to be able to target down this Void Ray, but he loses a lot of stalkers in the process.
And honestly, at this point, when you lose too many stalkers, there's nothing stopping Zain from just going across the map and killing that natural base of StarDuck and killing everything else that he has.
Yeah, exactly. The momentum is just a little bit too great here. He does take down the Void Ray just barely in the end, but GG gets called, and Zain will tie up this series 1-1.
Very nicely done here by Zain, not falling for the same, well, I guess it wasn't quite the same build, but not falling for the same style twice in a row. We are going into our ace match.
That we are. Again, very unfortunate that proxy was scattered for StarDuck. I can't imagine how the game would have played out if it wasn't. But this is also a little bit telling. I think Zain is like kind of on notice here. I think he's going to be hyper vigilant when it comes to scouting in game number 3. And I feel like a proxy is not what StarDuck should be going for.
Oh. I feel like a proxy is exactly what he should be going for. The last Zain is thinking StarDuck isn't going to be going for a proxy 3 games in a row. Can he?
Nah, I think he can.
He absolutely can.
Yeah, I think Zain knows that. We'll see. We'll see what happens in the ace match. As we are going all the way. And to be fair, I'm very happy that StarDuck was able to avenge Oreo a little bit by forcing the ace match. You know, so he at least is able to fight back here against Zain.
Yeah. Fighting for he's avenging his big brother, in a way.
Oh yeah, he is avenging him. As we are getting ready for our ace match, looks like the map of choice is going to be inside and out. And I did get confirmation we have NXZ waiting for the winner of this series.
What'd I tell ya? Actually, I didn't make a prediction at all. But
wow, oh my god. So NXZ old mate Ryan is is going to be waiting here for the winner of this series. So it is going to be a ZVP best of 5 after this. Oh my god. And can Ryan do what Oreo couldn't? Or will he even face Zain? Like, I wouldn't mind an Australia versus Australia qualifying match.
Yeah, that way we don't have to alternate servers.
There you go.
Yeah, it will. Yeah, we'll definitely keep cheering and supporting for that match to happen. But till then, our players are asking for a quick little break. This gives us plenty of opportunity to imagine how this game is going to go.
Yeah, exactly. As you know, there is not much speculation remaining here. Like when it comes to the overall bracket, again, exclamation mark B. If you want to look at the bracket yourself, check out Renegade X Studios as they are going to be casting Demi versus Raza, a pretty solid ZVT. Not gonna lie.
I can tell you already, looking at Renegade's channel, Raza did decide to go for a bunker rush.
Oh my god!
In game number 1.
What an animal!
Yeah.
Aye, aye, aye. So, yeah, there's a pretty sick ZVT going on there. As a reminder to if you're a fan of some of these players that have been knocked out, you know, like Oreo, like Pez, like Azure, like Nefarious, or Leah Rusher, they will have another chance tomorrow.
Yeah. It is a little bit rough how the OCE/C qualifiers are scheduled. It, again, is one after another, one day after another, and when I say a day, I mean literally less than 24 hours. But yeah, it's what can you do? You gotta be able to, you know, get all the qualifiers at some point and at different times as well.
Yeah.
Last thing you want to do is have 2 tournaments running concurrently.
Exactly. That's the last thing we want. And to be fair, we only have a week to get all these qualifiers underway. You know, it's a shame, but like I believe tomorrow Oceania is going to cross over a little bit, or it sometimes crossovers with the China qualifiers and things of that nature. But yeah, regardless, we do wish all the players the best of luck tomorrow that are going to be there. Of course, we will be there as well to bring you as much coverage as we can.
That we shall. But till then, we're gonna have to decide who qualifies tonight.
Oh, exactly. We are here in the Ace match. The players are now ready, and this is the final game of the series.
That it is, and we are, of course, concluding it on inside and also out. We're in the top right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the top right-hand corner. We, of course, have our green Protoss player coming down from the land of Britain. And representing Pakistan, he is Zain, the membrane.
And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner of inside and out, we have the Australian Protoss player himself representing the CranKy Ducklings. It is StarDuck.
I'm keeping my eyes glued on that mini-map. I'm keeping my eyes glued on this red dot on this probe. I mean, it's just gonna be scouting for now, anyway.
I was kind of hoping for like a forge to be thrown down or something crazy.
Yeah.
Something crazy like that. But it's all good. StarDuck is going to be going across the map, and again, now this question is going to be: is StarDuck actually going to intend to expand and take his natural?
No. A very wise man once said, "Why would you expand in PvP?"
Yeah, you expand, you die. At least that used to be the case in the previous seasons, in the previous metas. Nowadays, these natural bases with these ramps have become so much more popular, so these gate expands have also risen in popularity as well.
A lot more defensible this time.
Yeah, they really are. And there we go. StarDuck does actually start his Zealot on time. He is looking to expand and is looking to take a Nexus.
Yeah, just waiting for that Zealot to finish up so that he can, you know, take out the probe of Zain. Waiting for the minerals to get a Nexus. A little bit annoying here with that probe from Zain. And this is things that you want to do as much as possible.
Yeah, meanwhile, StarDuck was actually pushed out of the natural base of Zain. Despite that, Zain actually still committed and made the Zealot anyway, as he is delaying and going straight into a Stargate.
We thought StarDuck was going to be the player to delay the Nexus, but it was Zain who delays his Nexus. Wow, what a twist.
This is a scary moment here. It's going to take a while for this pylon to be cleaned up. Zain is going to be delaying his own economy for a faster Oracle to zoom across the map. And StarDuck has to see this. Unfortunately, StarDuck turned around really a little bit too soon with his probe, so he wasn't able to confirm what the opener really was.
And now it's kind of a moot point, because Zain will get both the tech and the Nexus sooner than StarDuck will.
StarDuck falling a little bit behind here. He does eventually, he's forced to throw down his tech. This was not his original plan, but Twilight Council is going to be on the way, and it even gets scouted.
Everything going right for Zain this time.
Yeah, exactly. As finally StarDuck will be able to take his expansion. Finally, he can regain control of his natural base. But that Oracle is on the way, and I'm really concerned here. Like StarDuck, if he had scouted this, he would 100% already have a shield battery on the way. But he's in the dark.
He's in the dark. His stalkers across the map. He's getting Blink now. Warp Gate. We will finish up at the very least, but I do believe StarDuck only has one. Yep, only one gateway to work off.
Yeah, he only has that one gateway. He does fully wall off here on 2 bases. Well, like, he does have his wall up and running, which is nice to see. But the Oracle's going to come in, and I worry about how much probes are going to fall, Papi. Oh, God.
Quite a lot is what I'm going to guess. 2 so far. Very quick reaction from StarDuck, but yeah, Zain has got to be happy to be able to zap down these probes without too much difficulty.
He's as happy as Shappy as he's out there camping right now. 4 probes go down and a lot of lost mining time here. On top of that, we do see that Zain did have the faster Nexus, so we can start chrono boosting out probes a little bit faster as well. StarDuck still only on 1 base economy. And Zain, doubling down on the aggression, goes for a Dark Shrine.
He just pulled out an Uno reverse card on top of StarDuck. Oh man, you'll love to see it.
Oh my god. And can StarDuck keep up? You know, how the turns have tabled. Can he recognize what's going on? Unfortunately, StarDuck doesn't have a sentry. He doesn't have a hallucination scout. He just doesn't really have a way to figure out what's happening in the main base.
Right now, yeah. He doesn't have much of anything just because of how long Zain was able to delay both the economy and the tech from StarDuck.
Yeah.
We mentioned game number 1. In a scenario like this, where there's literally 0 ways to get detection, DTs just end the game.
They do, but you know what? StarDuck is moving out across the map. There is no proxy pylon set up for Zain, so there's no way for him to really reinforce and get DTs across the map as soon as possible. And StarDuck is getting a Forge for +1, can also get some cannons.
Yeah, this is definitely a nice start. It looked like Zain was sending out a probe to try to get that proxy, but in the end, he's supposed to warp his DT back home. For just finishing up. We need a couple of cannons.
We do need a couple of cannons. We do have a massive station drop trap going off here on this army, which means it cannot recall. The DT is coming across the map, and StarDuck did not notice it.
And yeah, even if he sees a shimmer, there's no way for him to deal with this. The DT starts swiping away at these probes.
Oh my god!
So much more that StarDuck needs to do, and that was a perfectly timed stasis trap, triggering just as the stalkers come off of cooldown.
Yeah, exactly. Beautiful layers upon layers of stasis traps. Meanwhile, the DT hasn't dealt too much damage. Only 4 probes are going down, but again, a lot of lost mine time. This is just keeping StarDuck's economy lower and lower. We do see a full wall off in the end. We do have actually a cannon on the way in the main, and a robo as well for that observer.
Yeah, it's one thing to have detection. It's another thing to have detection that you know, moves. This is why Protoss needs scan.
It would drastically change the matchup. Let's be real. Oh god.
Drastically improve the matchup. No,
yeah.
Probably not.
And now we see that StarDuck, he's down 10 workers. He's down in the army supply. We do see a massive counterattack coming across the way. Zain is up 4 stalkers, and he even has that DT if he wants to use it.
If he wants to use it, but for now he doesn't really see a need to.
And he's going to rotate over towards the third base location here. The army completely out of position. StarDuck trying to hunt down that DT. He will get the DT, but he's going to lose more of his economy.
Yeah, surprisingly not that much damage from these stalkers, but now there should be a lot more.
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit of a blink battle.
Yeah, 2 probes do end up going down again, just hindering that worker count for StarDuck. He did have a bit of a faster third base, but again, he still just can't really make use of it. He will have superior stalkers in a way, as +1 just now finishes up, but he doesn't have the numbers.
Yeah, not yet anyway. Oracle does get dealt with, and StarDuck is making sure that he's only fighting in a choke point, which is definitely a start. He's getting a couple more gateways, but everything StarDuck's doing, Zain is doing as well, but faster.
Oh, God, exactly. You know, he's behind in the upgrade, but he's working on charge as well to get into charge. Also had to help supplement his army. StarDuck already has it, to be fair, but he just needs a little bit more time. He needs a little bit more resources to actually make use of it.
Like so.
Exactly.
One more reinforcements coming out for Zain. StarDuck with the defender's advantage is able to, you know, mitigate that a little bit, but yeah, even the upgrade advantage cannot overcome the fact that Zain has a much bigger army and a much better position.
Yeah, the concave is insane. We do have an overcharge, and that will definitely help things out here for StarDuck, but Zain just has so much momentum going his way. The shield battery goes down, the stalkers are going down. We have a desperate slow warp-in or a warp-in of Zealot, and they will definitely help, but once again, StarDuck is losing so much. He will push this back after losing 6 of his probes.
But you know what? He's alive.
He's living.
He's living. He's not exactly thriving, though.
Oh, God. He's doing his best to hold on. He's got +2 on the horizon if that can ever finish. Charge also being morphed in, and that will help out StarDuck. He does, again, have just a better army overall, and he's going to be able to take this fight.
Yeah, never underestimate the power of charge floods. They are extremely tanky against stalkers in particular. StarDuck doesn't want to overextend too much here. 4th base being thrown down by Zain. Just extending his lead further and further and further.
Yeah, I would argue that right now, StarDuck has to pull a Zain from game number 1, go into a robotics base, go into disruptor sooner rather than later. Right now, he's just trying to keep up and trying to rely on his gateway army, but it's just so difficult to pull this off, especially because here, we no longer have a shield battery.
Yeah, this is a much less defensible position than previously. War Prism is coming down, so it seems like StarDuck does want to get some harassment done across the map, but it's difficult balancing between offense and defense when you're down in supply.
Oh, God, it really is. I mean, +2 is going to finish up in a couple of seconds, so I mean, StarDuck is going to have an even greater advantage, or an advantage as the upgrades are even at the moment, and that will help, but, oh, charge ults are now coming in for Zain. He now has them in his own army as well.
Yeah, that was one advantage StarDuck had in all of these fights, but now not so much. It's still definitely possible for him to utilize choke points and concaves to try to out-micro Zain, but it's tough to say the least.
It really is, as we have charges coming in from towards the north, almost getting a full surround on StarDuck's army. He is kiting back towards his 3rd base, and we do have a shield battery. We will have an overcharge available soon. TM, there we go. It is popped.
And it's a very good position for StarDuck to fight in. Basically making sure that Zain can never get too many shots off. Oh, the Immortal does get caught by a couple of Zealots, but a very quick warp-in right at the end from StarDuck will keep it alive. It's not quite the same as Disruptors. It's not quite a great equalizer, but it does have the potential to completely wipe out the Stalkers of Zain.
Exactly, the Stalkers of Zain are going down, but at the same time we have a massive warp-in of charges. And no, there's nothing here at home to defend.
Yeah, very quick warp-in now. It also acts as a body block, actually. Yeah. StarDuck, I gotta say, I didn't think it was possible, but he is extending his life purely off the back of choke points and army positioning.
Yeah, exactly. The fights, the positioning have just been good enough. He's going for a massive base trade right now. He goes all the way to the natural base of Zain. Meanwhile, Zain has a choice. He turns around.
Oh. Okay, he turns around with his main army, but he still has a little bit of a force. He knows that StarDuck is essentially all in from here. He tries to recall back home, and he is just putting himself behind.
Yeah, exactly. Meanwhile, no, the Immortal is out of position. The Immortal is so exposed. There was so much potential in this unit, but it's going to go down. The Prism is going to go down as well. StarDuck, his army is plummeting right now. He can always recall back home, though, as his natural is under threat.
Yeah, a little bit of slow warp-in, a couple of Zealots trying to keep this alive. I love that Zain did go for a ninja base as well on StarDuck's side of the map, but now StarDuck is forced to recall, and he did kill a lot of workers. I'll give him that, but yeah, it's not going to take too long for Zain to catch back up when he's on 5 bases.
Exactly. You know, is this a ninja base, or is Zain just taking the path of least resistance, you know, expanding towards his opponent as aggressively as possible? Unfortunately, StarDuck just doesn't have any vision on the 3rd, the 4th, or the 5th.
Yeah, for all he knows, Zain is on the same economic footing as he is, but we know that that's not the case at all.
Exactly, but you know what, StarDuck, with that move, like, because he killed so many workers, like, things aren't looking too bleak for him, especially if he's able to fight or find, like, little chunks of army like this exposed.
Yeah, picking up the Zealots before they can really contribute to the fight, really making use of that upgrade advantage that he's got.
Yeah, he really is, but you know what, Zain comes in with a mass wave of reinforcing Zealots, and Stalkers are not ideal against these Zealots. We need more reinforcements, we need that shield battery.
Yeah, the Templar Archives is about to finish up for StarDuck, but he needed the Archons now.
does.
Outside of Archons or Stalkers, and yeah, he's trying to get them.
Yeah, he's trying to work on them as best as he can. He also activated his shield battery overcharge a little bit prematurely there. It won't be available for this next fight, and oh, StarDuck is losing a lot of his Stalkers.
Yeah, one High Templar did get warped in, but it doesn't have any Storm Puppy. There we go. Whew, turn them into Archons.
Yeah, they are going to be morphed into those Archons. StarDuck does have eyes on the fresh base here of Zain, going trying to apply as much pressure as possible. Archons, I mean, StarDuck will have a bit of a tech advantage here when it comes to the army.
Yeah, and he's already got the lead when it comes to those Archons. They are exactly what you need to deal with all of these Zealots. But keep in mind, Zain also has Dark Templar. He has Archons available if he warps them in. Unfortunate pick-off here for StarDuck.
Yeah, we'll see if he can pull that off, because we do have a TT here just denying the bases of StarDuck, keeping him on these 3 bases. We do see StarDuck trying to push it forward, but he only has 1 Archon. And
that's a little bit tougher to deal with when your opponent has this much army. He is actually breaking through, surprisingly. He's also going to get +3 weapons.
Yeah, like, again, this Archon did so much, by the way. Like, it may not have that many kills, but it did so much damage to the Zealots, so much damage to those Stalkers as well. StarDuck will take down that base.
And just like that, things are looking up a little bit for him, but Zain will be getting a couple of Archons of his own. I don't believe StarDuck has a Warp Wizard with this army, so yeah, he doesn't really have an easy way to reinforce this.
He doesn't. This does get spotted, by the way. Zain is going to be getting in position. He's warping in another wave of units. StarDuck has to be careful not to get surrounded. He does find the army. He does recognize how many Archons there are.
Yeah, just trying to bait Zain into a very, very unwinnable fighting position here, trying to make use of the high ground as much as possible, but Zain ain't falling for it.
Oh, he's not falling for it, mate. He's not at all, but Zealots do split off. They do head towards that 3rd base location. StarDuck is being forced all the way back, but probes are going down.
Yeah, this is a very good split off of forces from StarDuck. Zain had to make a choice. Where does he attack? And just like that, all of the Archons get targeted down by the Stalkers of StarDuck. Is he actually doing this?
He's doing it. He's doing it, but we have a shield battery overcharge being popped here for Zain. He's trying desperately to hold on, but every single Archon just went down. StarDuck is breaking him. He's doing it, puppy.
He's actually doing it. Zain had StarDuck bloodied and crippled in a puddle of blood in the ground, but StarDuck says, I am the big brain around here. I am the one who is going to that qualifying match to face NXZ. GG. My God. By the power of Oreo, StarDuck turned that ace match completely on its head. And will be continuing to... Wow!
Mate,
you saw me grab my phone at like the 9-minute mark, didn't you? Like, you saw me like, all right, this is game's about to end. Nope, StarDuck. I still cannot believe just how much of a big brain he has, especially in the PvP matchup. He sees paths to victory that just aren't seen by anybody else. Very nicely done.
I am in shock and I am in awe. we were both counting StarDuck out. We were both like he kept taking these bad fights. He kept losing all these workers. The base trade moment was the moment where StarDuck was actually coming back. You pointed it out. He killed like 20 something probes. Like he took a worker lead when that happened.
He did.
And we were also a little bit perplexed that Zain turned around the way that he did, right? That he was at the front door of StarDuck and he turned around and it was like, what? Like maybe he thought he was far enough ahead that he knew that if he just cleaned it up, he would win the game, right? And we thought so as well, because he was on 5 bases. He had 2 more bases on StarDuck. He had his own upgrades. He didn't have 2-0 like StarDuck did. He had 1-1 instead for his charge lots. But that was insane. That was actually insane. Oh my god.
He is so patient, StarDuck is. Hey, so you just get a bit of perspective when you're in the stars, when you're in the skies, flying around like that. Perspective that nobody else sees. Very, very... Yeah, GG. Well played. This was... I want to say a once in a lifetime series, but that's not quite the case, is it? I anticipate a lot more series like this going StarDuck's way in the future, because that, compared to game number 1, game number 3 was a game where nothing went StarDuck's way.
100%.
He was down and out.
Yep.
But through sheer strategy and skill, he was able to turn it around and take the W.
Yeah. I'm looking at the army graph, and there's a period where StarDuck is down, like, and he has like half the army supply of Zain.
Oh, yeah.
It's not looking less than half the army supply. It's not looking good. But like StarDuck, with what little Unity had, with his upgrade advantage, with his tech advantage as well, like those Archons, when he morphed them in, they were the MVPs in that moment, in that time. Like StarDuck was able to swing things in his favor and take out that bottom right hand base with that. You were talking about the positioning. He was so careful and so patient, always making sure that he's the one with the concave, always making sure that his opponent is pushing into him. That was just very slow, very methodical, very well done there by StarDuck. I'm so proud.
What's setting him up first tonight in WTL?
It's coming up first, puppy. Let's go. You know what the
He's
first
gonna ride this wave.
Man, as soon as the game ended, StarDuck messaged me and he said, "And you say I don't practice enough." I'm like, mate, if you did, it would have been easier, okay? you wouldn't be in your position. God damn it, StarDuck.
Look, if there's anything I learned, is that the more you use your body, the less you use your brain. And StarDuck needed his brain to win that game.
True. He really did, and with that, congratulations to StarDuck. He moves on to a qualifying match. He's going to move on to face old mate Ryan.